But maybe he does.
Self is going away.
know.
Real comedy has survived by escaping the gatekeepers. Millions have stopped watching the woke sermons on television and have begun to look for alternatives. We interviewed prominent figures across the comedy business to learn how comedians are beating the system and fighting censorship. This is the current state of comedy.
Hi.
Ari Shaffir from 20 years ago.
Today what we're going to do is make fun of the Chinese, Japanese.
Got any clips of Ari being offensive from today? You don't. He's trying to show how funny offensive comedy is. This is a 20-year-old clip of Ari Shaffir. Ari Shaffir won't say boo. He don't say nothing offensive. What is Ari?
Jew.
The most offensive Ari Shaffir thing does is smoke a cigar. So Ari Shaffir is like the thesis of this whole thing. I mean, he's like the main subject matter. Watch this. Here he is, Ari Shaffir.
Japanese, the Filipinos, the Hawaiians, the Cambodians, the Vietnamese. Hey, call them what you want. They're all Oriental to me.
Ari
and then Ari's like the subject. He's talking to Tucker the whole documentary, but it's like, oh, so 20 years ago, you said offensive comedy, and then you stopped because of cancel culture. But he's being celebrated as like a hero in this doc. Somebody's like pushing the boundaries. Well, you pushed the boundaries, and then they told you to stop, and then you stopped. So aren't you the problem?
Or I don't really remember it, but maybe your special Jew was pushing boundaries, and in that case, you're fine.
No, I do remember Jew. It was not. I mean, there's nothing offensive.
But either way,
here's how you know it wasn't offensive. If it's on YouTube and not banned, it wasn't offensive. And there's no problem with it. So if his special was so offensive, he's pushing boundaries, then why is it on YouTube if YouTube is such a censorship haven? I just don't understand. So here's Ari Shaffir, who hasn't done anything offensive in 20 years. He was scared out of it. And I don't count him saying Kobe Bryant was a piece of shit. What happened when he said that? Do you guys remember? He hid for 1.5 years. Okay? That's what Ari Shaffir did. He said Kobe Bryant deserved to die. And then every black person was out for his head, and he moved out of town. Remember this? You didn't see him for a year. That's not standing up to cancel culture. That's running away from it and then coming back after they've forgotten. And then not doing anything offensive to catch their eye again.
Shaffir is a comic who can push the boundaries, test audiences, and offend his viewers.
Yeah, he pushes boundaries, tests audiences, and offends his viewers. And he's blowing, by the way, they've got a slow motion shot of him blowing cigar smoke in my face, which is the top thing I make fun of him about.
The Chinese, Japanese, the Filipinos, the Hawaiians, the Cambodians, the Vietnamese.
Okay. One click goes back that far.
Ari Shaffir is a comic who can push boundaries, test audiences, and offend his viewers.
It wasn't my fault. I had one of those like 70%.
2009.
One of those.
2009 clip.
It's like I'm a little drunk. She's a little fat. You know, it's.
In an age of wide censorship, Shaffir has managed to pack clubs and get millions of views online with his deeply offensive comedy.
20 years ago.
Any offensive comedian.
Here he is. And now here he is. Now he's doing a specific interview. So it's not like they just took some clips, said whatever they wanted to say. He came out, I want to be the spokesman for you. Tucker Carlson, who again, because you hate CNN, you like Tucker Carlson because he's the enemy of your enemy, right? This should not be how this works. You've got to be a little bit more creative than just siding with Tucker Carlson. Come on, guys. It's not how it needs to work. You could hate CNN and cancel culture without buddying up to Tucker Carlson. But you just can't find another way, can you? Just has to be this way. So here is Ari Shaffir giving this interview. And wait till you see what he says. You're going to love Ari and Lewis's parts, and I got those parts. Everybody else is just playing you the trailer and telling you either A or B from Twitter. Not us. We watched the whole thing. We got some great scenes. The scenes that you're too lazy to watch yourself. Wait till you see these. I'm going to have some Mary Jane. You guys want to get stoned? Yeah. That's offensive. Very offensive to do online.
Do you have an extra...
lighter.
This?
A puffer.
Yeah.
Do I have an extra one?
Yeah.
I do.
No.
I do.
In a way.
Yep. I always have an extra everything. Here you go. Here. There you go. Beautifully caught.
Thank you so much.
Okay, here we go. We're going to smoke some ganj. We're going to watch Ari Shaffir and Lewis's parts. Again, they've only showed you the trailer. They won't watch any further than the trailer. We're going to show you it all. Light up with me.
People don't
relax.
like Tucker, so that's good. Sometimes you feel like
it's very. I'm telling you, it's a real battle with people because everywhere else they go, they got one or two options. Everywhere else they go, they got a guy telling you it would be very hard. Because Joe Rogan's telling you this. They're all telling you the same goddamn thing. But I'm pleading with you to believe me that they are all wrong.
It's fine. Everyone's saying Tucker sucks balls. Tucker's the worst, worse than any fool
because you can't just start liking. We can't just start liking other types of terrible people because we're so mad about this cancel stuff. It's really, they're playing you. Tucker is using you. He cares about comedy? The crazy, insane, whitest, serial killerist, psycho guy. We should not be involved with a guy like this ever.
He would be like the newsman if we were in a post-apocalyptic society.
Yeah. It goes without saying we were never supposed to be. People like Ted Cruz, you're never supposed to be involved with these psychos. Trump was what got you over that bridge. He was like the Eminem. He's like how they got white kids into rap. He got people into because he's very funny. So you're following Trump as he's like an entertainer and a comic and a celebrity figure. And then he got you into Ted Cruz and stuff like that. That's psycho. It has to stop at Trump. Trump is the only guy out of this whole thing you're allowed to be humoring. The other guys that's like crazy. All of them. You don't just pick the other bad side because you hate one side more. Yeah, trust me, you don't have to do it. Don't be peer pressured into doing that. All right, wait till you see these great clips. Here's Ari Shaffir.
A little drunk.
He's got some
She's
great
a little
things
fat,
to say.
In an age of wide censorship, Shaffir has managed to pack clubs and get millions of views online with his deeply offensive comedy.
Listen, any offensive comedian...
Well, it sounds like he's doing pretty good. I thought this was about how comedians can't get work being offensive.
It's called The Death of Comedy.
The Death of Comedy, and you just said he's packing clubs and getting millions of views and he's rich from offensive comedy. You just said that. I'm telling you, these people, and you sit there and you go, yeah. They're using you. It's as clear as day. I just disputed the whole dang thing. And this is coming from me, a guy who needs cancel culture to stop. Right? Here he is.
We're just trying to make people laugh. If you get upset, that's a bonus. But that's not what we're going for.
Your eyes, it'd be good if you could open your eyes a little bit. Is your pussy like slanted?
Is your pussy slanted? Where have we heard that combination of words before? Well, if any of you follow Josh Denny, you'd see that a tweet that is used against him time after time after time is a tweet that he posted about
the second link.
A Chinese girl having a slanty pussy. The second link here, this one. Look at this. Here's Josh Denny. This is his famous tweet that everybody uses against him to try to get him canceled with the Food Network. Hey, Chinese girl at the pool, please close your legs. No one wants to see your slanty pussy. So this was written in August of 2012. Surely this Ari joke came out before 2012. So Josh Denny is just stealing from Ari Shaffir, with this slanty pussy joke. Listen to this.
Comedy.
Listen, any offensive comedian...
It goes back to one click, goes back like 15 seconds. There's like no way to go back without going back too far. Like one arrow click.
As soon as it pauses, everyone just memorize the last
trying to make people laugh.
Said.
If you get upset, that's a bonus. But that's not what we're going for.
Your eyes, it'd be good if you could open your eyes a little bit. Is your pussy like slanted?
The Josh Denny tweet. Josh Denny stole that from Ari.
Fuck you!
People are like, aren't you sorry? I'm like, no, I made millions of people laugh. No, I'll never be sorry for something like that.
Till you're 90-something years old, and you're like,
I think I'll masturbate one more time. I haven't masturbated in 15 years. My Parkinson's will help me with
And Tucker's got this all wrong. He's like, here's the subject of my documentary that you're supposed to root for. And he's Jewish, and his new special is called Jew.
You guys love that.
Yeah,
right?
they're going to love that. It's like, do you not know what Fox Nation means? They didn't tune into Fox Nation, and this is like Fox Nation's big debut thing. Like, they're canceling comedy. I'm Tucker Carlson. Welcome to, we're all rooting for Jewish guy now. They're watching this, and they're thinking you're showing the guy that we're against. You see? They're so confused. People are sitting, it's like you'll see this in the Roseanne stand-up show. Everybody who went to the Roseanne stand-up show was there for like cancel culture, anti-trans stuff. And the minute Roseanne starts talking about her actual life, they're zoned out. They don't say a word. Silence. And it's the same thing here. It's like, Tucker. Don't you know anything about pandering here? Your audience hates Jewish people. You're making this documentary. The subject is a Jew, and you're showing them Jew. They're going, wait. Is this the guy that is screwing up comedy? They don't know. You've confused them. Watch this.
Yes.
The worst thing that could possibly happen is if you don't deliver the material you feel is funny because you're afraid of backlash. The only thing you should be afraid of is the crowd's not going to laugh.
Television networks and Hollywood movie studios are now almost purely political. There's no room for comedy there. So real comedy is thriving where it first began, in clubs.
We've been producing comedy steadily from that time without missing a beat, including during the pandemic when we were the only club in the world running. And we've become...
This is Danny Golightly's. The girl, Anthony Cumia. I bit her hand. I did. I went, ah! That's her dad. That's Danny Golightly's dad,
Cumia
Vinny Brand.
owns your daughter.
Cumia owns you. That's what we were screaming. We were watching this documentary like, oh, Cumia owns your daughter. He bit the fucking hand, you cuck dad. You probably jerk off to Cumia biting your daughter's hand, don't you? And we're against Cumia. So it's weird.
That's how much we hated this doc.
That's how much we hated this doc, because this guy's a fucking moron. Vinny Brand from the Stress Factory. Oh, yeah, we got all the comedians. We're really old school. We got some pictures of the comedians in black and white.
Did he get debarking surgery?
He did. What a tool. You let your daughter get bit by A. Cumia and you didn't even stand up for yourself? If A. Cumia bit my daughter, oh, man, nobody better lay a finger on my daughter finger. That's basically what they're saying when I hear them say that shit, like Sam Tripoli. Sam Tripoli, this man, you could learn from him. He let Cumia bite his daughter. And he still gets up. He doesn't get violent. I'm still very frustrated over the biting. Hey, Vinny! Cumia owns your daughter. Sorry, you didn't stand up for... You would think I would be on his side. I'm not. He said, but if somebody bit my daughter, I'd bite their fucking face. You don't let somebody bite your daughter and then just let them do a network over there with everybody that works at your club. You either quit the club and move out of town, or you kill the man who bit your daughter. Fucking cuck.
What I think is one of the most recognizable clubs in the country.
Owners like Vinny Brand are making it possible. Brand runs the Stress Factory in New Jersey, where comedians who want to say what they actually think come, and they do.
As comics,
so they've got to play.
So they have a lot of clubs. It's thriving in comedy clubs, would you say? Oh, you did say that, actually. Comedy now, offensive comedy, is thriving in every club. Oh, I thought you said we couldn't do it. Oh, no, you could do it in every club. Where can't you do it? Just like a Disney movie that's like for families. Oh, so is it being...
Maybe once a year, a kooky lady from the street will...
And you could pretty much do all of it on YouTube. Oh. Can you do it on Twitter? Yes! Can you do it in a little kid's... No! Oh. But don't you hate when little kids get exposed to offensive stuff? Yes! So they can't do it in front of little kids or in big, giant, corporate, mainstream movies for families. Yes! And it's completely dead? No, it is thriving! And millions of people love this stuff. Okay. Do you hate black people? No! Of course not!
Water.
This is Fox Nation.
And make fun of it. So, if we can't do that for you, maybe you shouldn't necessarily go to a comedy club. Because here, the comics should be free to say what they want to say.
Until he's got 5 people filling the seats. And, free tickets to everyone, please, please.
This is literally like if a bunch of waiters made a documentary and they were like, oh, these people are always coming up to me and sending their food back to the kitchen because it's not cooked right.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, okay.
So it's a
what you're saying is
complaint you get at your job.
So what you're saying, if the comedy's good, everybody loves it. And if it sucks, they hate it.
And maybe you get a kooky customer once in a while.
I know. It's like the examples they have are like 4. You have like 4 examples, and one of them was Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. That's not happening in clubs across the country. Well, let's see more. You're going to see your favorites.
And let the marketplace decide whether it's good or bad.
We're kind of in like a weird word prohibition. Can't say this, can't say that. That's why I feel like every now and then we should all go to a completely incorrect speakeasy. Just somewhere we can all go to say horrible stuff and nobody cares. You go down some creaky stairs, you bang on a big steel door, the guy's like, what's the password? Retarded. Get in here!
If you came here to have your moral ethics or to become educated, you should know that as a cohort, we're some of the dumbest people on the planet. That's why we're comedians, okay? That's why we're not lawyers.
You're not a comedian.
And doctors, and we're not scientists. We are all flawed in some way.
Your jaw have been bit.
Started his career in broadcasting.
The Ace Man. And nobody has gotten stupider than the Ace. I used to like the Ace Man. I used to think he was a confident guy. The Ace Man's got nothing in that tank anymore. After that divorce from Lynette, he was divorced. He was divorced because he's just being too extreme for her. She don't like him no more.
I don't want to hear no
Corolla
guys
is
talking about women.
Yeah. You know what?
Sorry.
It really is pathetic. I don't need to hear the Ace Man tell it how it is. You couldn't make your marriage work. Now you're floundering around. I mean, look at his face. Cut through his face. Look at this. The confidence in the Ace Man is gone. I mean, what's the worst card now? He's that man. What's the worst card? The 2? You're the 2. Yeah, that's probably a good card to a lot of people with their combos.
Who was on the episode we just listened to him? Oh, Sam Tripoli and
He's
Callan.
so out of it.
He spent the whole episode just doing the most like boomery women's complaints as if they had never before been heard. He'd be like, women can't make a decision.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame. And at least when Bill Maher does it, it's like
from your recent divorce.
Yeah, at least when Bill Maher does it, you know, he's able to hold his eyes together. It's all about the eyes, and Corolla's eyes are shot.
Exactly. Bill
You're
has
divorced. It's nothing more pathetic than a divorce. Sorry. I mean, if it's within the first year, fine. That's a simple mistake. 23 years or so, and then you get divorced. I mean, how fucking pathetic are you? What were you doing? What were you thinking? And what have you done? A divorce is a brutal tell that somebody is awful. Awful, awful, awful.
Robin Tran says he bombed at the Alec Baldwin roast and complained about cancel culture during his set.
Yeah. And I'm telling you guys.
And how many years ago was that? 10?
Yeah, probably. So he is here today, and I'm telling you, the Ace Man, he's changed. He's different. If you ever liked him to begin with, that's all gone. Trust me. We tried to watch it. It's a totally different person. He's got no soul anymore. Here he is.
In Los Angeles' K-Rock Radio. He then co-hosted Love Line.
Look at this.
And then
Listen
The
to this
Man
line.
Show with Jimmy Kimmel.
Listen to this lie.
I've seen the business change dramatically over the last 30 years.
I started on a station that people work their career and never get to. And that was the first radio station I was on. But it wasn't political because we lived in semi-normal times.
All thanks to the women's suffrage movement. Led by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, pioneers in the field of bitching, moaning, and complaining. Now, girls jumping on trampolines. God bless you.
Corolla was hugely successful in the entertainment business, but he saw what was coming. So in 2009,
Corolla was so successful, but he saw what was coming. So in 2009, he started his own podcast. Listen to this. This is what he's really going to say. Here.
Launched his own podcast, one of the first. a show that would inspire a future generation.
See, Tucker does this. He always does this. He just bends it to however it needs to be. So in 2009, Adam Corolla was fired from his job in terrestrial radio and started the podcast because he had nothing else. He didn't see what was coming and start the podcast. He was fired from his real job. Okay? We were all there. Mangria.
Comedians to escape the gatekeepers. To this day, The Adam Corolla Show is the most downloaded daily podcast on planet Earth.
What?
I'm sort of a divining rod for society. As a comedian, you don't want to get in a position where you can't say stuff that you're thinking, because that's the death of being a comedian. You think this, you say this. I feel like they drew first blood, you know, like when they go like, you've changed, like you think I've changed, but I haven't changed. You've changed. You've gone nuts.
Ah, good comeback. You think I've changed? No, you've changed. Checkmate. It's like, that wasn't really a good comeback. You think I've changed? No, you've changed. And now all I'm going to do is talk about the change. Only.
Podcasts like The Adam Corolla Show showed comedians they too could make it on their own. Luis J. Gomez hosts the most offensive podcast on the internet. He's built a platform to help other comedians speak their mind.
Look at this.
My name is Luis J. Gomez, and I am one of the owners of Gas Digital Network, one of the creators of Skankfest, and 1/3 of the Legion of Skanks, the most offensive podcasts on earth.
Really?
The most racist person ever opposed slavery in 1619.
The one person who saw the future, that you didn't need to have black people working for free. I didn't think they'd work hard for money.
People talk.
You showed a clip of the Legion of Skanks bombing out. There was a whole crowd of people. This is what the crowd was doing. That's the clip you showed. I don't even know what they said.
That offensive for their standards.
The word black people was said, and they're like, look, see, offensive comedy. They said black people. Why is black people an offensive thing to say? That's bizarre. Here's
about how cancel culture doesn't exist. It exists on such a cellular level. There's a fear amongst content creators, definitely amongst comedians, but without a doubt, I'm sure it exists across the board in the industry. There is a fear of getting canceled.
Well, Kevin Hart's job hosting the 91st Academy Awards lasted just 2 days. Hart stepped down following an outcry over previous homophobic tweets.
There's a fear of saying something that's
he stepped it. Do you see the trend here? Kevin Hart stepped down and canceled himself. Luis J. Gomez censors his YouTube videos. And Ari Shaffir stopped doing The Amazing Racist about 15 years ago. And when he did his Kobe joke, he hid for 1.5 years. They don't tell you that in the doc, though. They show you these people as fighting on the front lines of offensive free speech. Here they are.
Somebody, and everybody, before they say anything, before they put out anything, they're overthinking every single aspect of it, right? That kills a flow state of creativity. And I think that is what cancel culture is. It's killing that flow state, and that's what's been canceled.
Dave Chappelle show in Minneapolis canceled.
Your flow state is great. What's wrong with anything that's happening to you? You have a successful network. Skankfest is huge.
I just don't understand. All the people in this documentary talking are doing like better than they could have ever dreamed.
Aren't they all?
All of them.
And you know what I was thinking? I bet more people are hearing offensive comedy now than any other time in history.
I don't know what time they think they're remembering when you would turn on TV and they would allow you to do offensive comedy. I mean, there was no offensive things anywhere in our entire life. When did you ever... What are you thinking of that was so offensive and allowed? I just don't understand where you think it was.
But I have such a soft spot for Lewis when I see him there. I'm like, oh, he's just doing this because he's such a nice guy. And he thinks that he's like, oh, yeah, I'll do the Tucker interview because I'm such a nice guy. But it's like, stop this.
Stop being such a nice guy. This doesn't make any sense.
You don't have to do it.
There's some more.
By a venue after a backlash.
Jimmy Dore, the host of The Jimmy Dore Show, has emerged as a leading anti-establishment political voice. He's also a stand-up comic.
I think I'm the leader of the dirtbag left.
And
if I'm not,
where
I'd
did
like
you
to...
get that from? That's not your term.
What?
The dirtbag left.
That's what he wants to be.
He saw someone say that on Twitter, and then he was like, I'll just call myself that as well.
What's exciting is Jimmy Dore, when podcasting was first starting to come out, right around when Mark Maron first got popular, Jimmy Dore had a popular comedy podcast. And then it kind of like turned to shit, and he went away. He had to reinvent himself as this political guy, and now he's back. But I remember watching Jimmy Dore, his career fade from, reputable, relevant comedian guy to nothing. And I guess now he's back, and he's a devious guy on the left or something. I don't understand it.
To run for that position.
I don't know why he's on this dock.
We're a country full
he's
of
from the
adult
left.
children of alcoholics. We don't get angry at the person who's screwing us. We get angry at the person who's pointing out that someone's screwing us. And that's where I come in.
In America, first your father's president, you're born half a moron, and you become president.
Comedy is supposed to show where the establishment narrative is wrong. And what comedians started to do was to forward the status quo and start to, embrace censorship. That's the opposite of comedy.
FBI agents raided Mar-a-Lago.
I loved the Tonight Show back when it was just like nigger and faggot. Hey, faggot, you fucking nigger. That's when the Tonight Show was good. Not now how it's so clean and censored.
Yes, like in the chat, they're going, the dirtbag left fucking hates Jimmy Dore.
It's just a weird, bizarre things are happening out there. Here's some more.
Is that comedy? It is now. The one thing the people currently in power can't stand is being made fun of. For years, they've publicly attacked anyone who dares to ridicule them or their sacred cows. They threaten the careers of entertainers and ordinary people alike.
We didn't care what Dave Chappelle...
And it seems like they've won, which is very embarrassing. I didn't know you guys could be beat by trans betas. I just don't understand. So these guys like protest. They're like, please stop saying no word. And you're like, okay, we will. Comedy's under attack, guys. This naked, gay, trans guy danced about it. And this lesbo on the microphone says we're over. And then you abided by that, I guess? Why can't you just ignore these freaks? Imagine if every day is like, hey guys, I'd love to do some hardcore comedy for you, but this woman here, she said no at this one protest. So we're censoring it all today because of her. That's what you're doing. You've been defeated by trans freaks.
But did you want to skip ahead?
Yeah. What's the...
I mean, that was kind of all the parts with Ari, and you could go to like 1950 and we could see the ending part.
Didn't they have some really cringe things, though? Ari said some really cringe things in his interviews. That's... Okay, I need to show people that. Well, here...
Just skip to the parts where you see Ari.
I'll skip to the parts where you see Ari, because nobody could be cringier than this. Here's Jim the Worm Norton. I'm worried about getting canceled for actual rape. So I've smashed that together with cancel culture. That's what he's worried about.
It's being canceled if you don't let him dress up as Chip.
Exactly, yes. Here's Ari.
Dorks. Absolute dorks. And I like going dork hunting. I like going and fucking sniffing out the dorks the way a pig would with a truffle.
Ari goes dork hunting. Oh yeah, where? Because I just saw you with a dork the other day smoking a cigar. His name's Joel Lewis. Ari Shaffir's like, you know what I do online? I sniff out dorks and I say, fuck off, dork. I mean, listen to this. This is really being said. Listen.
Behavior. It's a lie 100% of the time.
Dorks. Absolute dorks. And I like going dork hunting. Oh, yeah. I like going and fucking sniffing out the dorks the way a pig would with a truffle. And finding them and exposing them for the fucking dorks they are. And when you get one of those comics to go, well, this joke is too far. It's like you've made them hypocrites. It's so joyous. It's so joyous to show someone what a hypocrite they are. They all have the quotes from George Carlin on their Twitter page. Your job as a comic is to find the line and step over it. And then they go, well, this one went too far.
So let's visit that playground.
What? Who's got George Carlin quotes? Nobody. Can you send me a link to somebody who's got George Carlin in their bio, please? Besides Josh Denny? Or you? Ari Shaffir, they're living in a world of shroom. They're on shrooms. So he's saying
people come after him and they've got a quote from George Carlin in their bio.
These people are talking about how they're like under attack all day. By who? I've never seen Ari in a fight with somebody. And then, he's out exposing dorks every day. Where? I just see you with
you
dorks.
saw the clips. He exposed Amy Schumer, Hannah Gadsby.
Oh, I see.
That must be what they mean, right?
I don't know.
We just don't remember.
And then, he's saying, meanwhile, everybody who's against this kind of stuff's got a George Carlin quote. Where? In your wildest dreams?
And now you're under my control.
I like going and fucking sniffing out the dorks the way a pig would with a truffle. And finding them and exposing them for the fucking dorks they are. And when you get one of those comics to go, well, this joke is too far. It's like you've made them hypocrites. It's so joyous. It's so joyous to show someone what a hypocrite they are. They all have the quotes from George Carlin on their Twitter page. Your job as a comic is to find the line and step over it. And then they go, well, this one went too far.
So let's visit that playground of guilty white liberals.
But that's only an own if that actually happened. You're like creating a situation which would be an own, if that happened? But it didn't happen. What you're confusing this with is, I bet this person probably would say they liked George Carlin. But meanwhile, here they are, and they're offended by my joke. That's what you mean now, but you're saying that they've got it in their Twitter bio, the exact line about stepping over the line? That's just made up.
The land of the politically correct. Liberals should be taught that labels divide people, and I think we could probably do with fewer labels.
He'd be pushing back against all that stuff. He would be pointing out where the establishment is lying to you. That's the point of comedy.
You know, the trouble with this movement is that
That's the point of comedy. Okay. Sure. You got to see some more Ari Shaffir moments. He's really good. And if I see Lewis, I'll stop at him. Oh, there's little Lewis. It doesn't seem like it's long enough. Oh, then they got Huel from Breaking Bad in here. Oh, my God. They just showed. Look at this. What they just showed.
I know. When I was scanning through this earlier, I thought that was the clip of Crystalia finding out about Snapchat.
I know.
But
Where
it's Bobby
is
Lee.
that? Oh, it's just.
They just show it for like 1 second in a montage. I don't know why.
Let's see what else Ari says here.
For other people.
The Russell Brand show.
Every stand-up comedian gets it. It's like, who do you want to see this? Some housewife in Arkansas who's never going to come see your stuff? It was like, wow, that was well-spoken. Or somebody who's going to buy a ticket.
Black people, thank you for not wearing masks.
Andrew Schultz.
So I appreciate you doing that shit.
See, they think saying black people is edgy, offensive comedy that we're not allowed to say. What is so funny about just hearing someone say black people to you? And then they say, oh, no, I have no problems with black people. But you seem to just be fighting
maybe
for...
the jokes, if these are the examples of the most offensive jokes that you can't imagine, maybe you're not as censored as you think you are because you could say these on any station.
And you're saying them on Fox, which is a very big station that you would think would be part of this whole censoring place. So, yeah, I don't know. Very funny. Ari Shaffir, cringe as ever, huh? I love my Ari Shaffir stuff. Remember when we caught him doing yoga during the COVID? Remember he gave up comedy, started teaching yoga on his YouTube channel. Never forget. Wobbly yoga. The worst part about it, the backdrop of his house looked like an apartment from the show Girls.